Hello everybody, Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in. I'm not going to be long. First and foremost, I want to remind you that we're in the middle of a fundraiser for Black Men Lead Rite of Passage program, and we are asking for your support. The way that you can support the work we do will be in the description box, where you can give by going to the site or directly processing on an encrypted site, or by simply sending your support to the organization's Cash App account. Show some love, show some support if you believe in the work we're doing. All right, moving on. As you can see, I'm just leaving the office. Yes, it's Sunday. Had an interview with Kelly Lawson and the Sunrise Project, which is an awesome platform and forum for parents with teenage kids, predominantly teenage and young adult kids, and all of the things that parents face, from mental health issues, addiction, hanging around the wrong crowd, poor performance, a bunch of other things. I've had the pleasure and honor of, I think this was my fourth time on, if I'm not mistaken, in the past year. And it has been an unbelievably blessed experience. Today we talked about the family as the healing balm for both addiction and mental illness. And we talked about it from a pretty dynamic perspective. If you didn't get a chance to tune in, I shared it as much as I could, the link. Stay tuned, because as soon as it is edited and up, I will be sharing it on the Black Voice channel for you guys to check out. In the meantime, I want to kind of drop in and I want to talk about some of the points that were brought out in this discussion. The importance of family in any healing process is massive. Now, as I pointed out in this discussion today, when we talk about the massive importance and the massive impact of family on healing, we are making the assumption that the family in question is intact, is functional, is whole, and healthy. Now, that obviously we're discussing in this instance, the traditional family, the family nucleus, the nuclear family, mom, dad, children initially, which is the immediate family. Now, as I have taught for so long, I've written about it. I even teach my clients this, that you're born into a circle. You're born into a circle, predominantly your family, your peers, and things of that nature in school and whatever. But you're born into a circle you don't get to choose. You don't choose your family. You don't choose your parents. You don't choose your siblings. You don't choose extended family like cousins, aunts, and uncles, your grandparents, and so forth. You are born into that. Now, hopefully, as you're born into that, you're born into a healthy environment that encourages growth, that encourages a positive self-image, that supports the development of positive self-esteem, positive self-awareness, and self-confidence. In many instances, that's not the case. And there are so many different factors. We talked about the unbelievable reality of the poverty line, where it's drawn. Most people wouldn't be aware of that poverty line in America is a little over $12,000. And anyone who knows about living in this country knows that no one can live off of $12,000, and that's for an individual. For a family, it's 26,000. I want to say 26,700, something like that. Again, and the family in that instance is just defined as 4 people. That's 2 adults, 2 children, and we know that it's impossible to live off of that. That was one of the things that really kind of drew attention, was that the poverty line was that low. Understanding the cost of living in America, what was even more alarming was the fact that 20% of blacks, 20% of the 46 million blacks in America qualify to be be at or below the poverty line. And the key phrase is at or below the poverty line. I mean, there are so many different disparities that come along with poverty in this country. And it's important to understand that they're going to impact health, and they're going to have an impact on coping mechanisms, which in essence would also include substance use disorders that normally lead to some form of addiction. So we talked about this, but what I wanted to talk about specifically here, because we spent a whole hour unpacking things and we didn't even get close to getting finished, and so we'll probably pick that conversation up at the next time that I'm on. But first and foremost, if you haven't checked out the Sunrise Project, I'm going to post some information that you can go and subscribe so that you see. They do this every Sunday morning. It's going to be a podcast. Another podcast has actually been picked up by a national cable network, so it's going national. So that's going to be great. But look, the thing that I want to really look at is what happens when the family is caught up in a cycle of dysfunction and frustration, because a lot of times children who are struggling in these areas have parents who are struggling in these areas. We know for a fact that there are 5 mental disorders that are qualified to be considered in the realm of genetically influenced. Doesn't mean that because you have it, someone in your family has it. Doesn't mean that because someone in your family has it, you get it. It simply means that it's a huge possibility that it could be a part of it, because it's also environmental influences and psychological influences. But you're talking about autism, ADHD, major depression, and major depression, the main one, schizophrenia, and mood disorders. And so these things qualify to say, okay, if mom and dad are struggling with certain things, there's a good possibility that, one of the kids or more than one of the kids are struggling with the same type of situation. Also, we know that if there is, by the study of the ACE study done by Kaiser, shows that dysfunction in the home, and one of those dysfunctional behaviors is substance abuse, will often lead to a higher risk of substance abuse, also lead to problems with mental illness and mental health issues or mental disorders later on in life. So the question that I brought before everyone was, and then I came around and I sort of closed the loop, but the question I brought before everyone was, what happens when there's a cycle of dysfunction and unhealthiness? Who becomes the healing balm for the broken? Because you can't expect the broken to fix the broken. That's one of the problems we're having, is we're immersed into a very broken culture. We're immersed into a very broken community. And so what happens when there's no one there who is healthy enough to be the support system, to be the voice of reason, to be the resourceful person, to be the encourager, the inspiration? What happens? Well, that goes back to what I tell my clients. You're born into your first circle. You're born into your first environment. You don't get to choose it. But as you grow older and you become more keenly aware of what it is you need in life, what it is you want in life, you also develop the autonomy and the capacity to choose your circle. And if you want to be more liberated in the idea of family, which I am, then you also choose family. See, family isn't simply those who are a part of your bloodline. Yes, I think there has to be a love and a respect for those in the bloodline, because the bloodline carries the lineage. But there also has to be an understanding that sometimes you create family by those you choose to connect to, those you find who are like-minded, those you find who bring positivity, those who are anti-toxic, those who are able to come in and at your weakest moment be a voice of reason, at your weakest moment be a platform of support. That's important as well. So if you're out there and you're dealing with the microaggressions that are part of this institutional system that pushes a racial caste form and ideology, you're dealing with microaggressions every day, whether you realize it or not. And these microaggressions have an impact. They put you on edge. They will increase blood pressure, increase chronic stress, increase so many different things that it will weigh on you, can have a negative impact. You've got to have a tribe. You can call it a village, you can call it a tribe. I call it family. It's not blood relatives. It's those I've chosen to be completely and tightly woven into relationships with that aren't dependent upon uncontrollable obligations. And when I talk about uncontrollable obligations, I'm speaking specifically to blood relatives. Well, there's this thing where I'm obligated to you because we're related. No. I will not connect or be obligated to anybody that is not in a good place. I don't owe anybody to be their punching bag. I don't owe anybody to absorb their toxicity. I don't owe anybody to sit around and give you advice after pieces of advice, nugget after nugget, diamond after diamond, jewel after jewel for you to sit up and crap on. I don't owe anybody any of that. Everything is going to be contingent upon your ability to be in my space, in my capacity to be in yours. This is a mutual thing. This is something where there's reciprocity, and it doesn't have to be around the same thing. Someone may be a blessing financially. Doesn't mean they need somebody in their life to bless them financially. It may mean somebody to bless them with wisdom, to bless them with advice, to bless them with honesty and accountability. But it has to be positive. It has to be something. And it's important to understand that when I talk about positivity, I'm not talking about enabling anybody. I'm not talking about saying, do you and whatever it is, and I'm with you. No, I'm going to call you on your BS, but I'm going to call you out in love, and I'm going to tell you what I think you could be doing and how awesome I think you can be. But I'm going to be honest with you and tell you what you're doing. And I need somebody in my circle to do that for me. I need somebody in my circle to tell me, hey, man, I know you think you're doing this, but this is what's really happening. Or, hey, man, you know better than that. Hey, man, you're not giving your all. Hey, man, you shorted yourself today. You need somebody that's going to sit up and say, nah, man, we're not doing that today. Nah, we're going to do the whole workout. No, we're going to read the whole book. No, we're going to show up and do this. I know you're tired, Rick, but the kids are expecting you to come in, and there has to be people like that in your life who love you enough to hold you to a standard of greatness, to hold you to a standard that is reflective of what your potential reveals. And so when we talk about healing from trauma or healing from mental illness or dealing with substance use disorders, there's a lot that's needed, and family can be a powerful force. Family can literally be the healing balm, but family can't be the healing balm if family is a part of the devastating force that created some of the realities that you're dealing with. You're going to have to be willing to go out and accumulate and build and develop relationships with people who may not be blood relatives, but who will love you with the intensity as if so. And I wanted to leave that with you. So once again, man, it's always an honor to drop in on you. It's always an honor to share. Like I say, I'm always on a high after sitting down and talking with these parents. Because these parents are seriously committed, and a large number of these parents are really dealing with some real serious issues with their children, and they are authentically concerned and are committed to finding solutions. And that's how I actually got brought on, is because someone was aware of who I was and brought it to their attention. They sit down and talk with me, and they felt it would be a positive thing to have me on, and I've been going ever since. And I want to encourage you. I mean, it's so much more to Black Men Lead than just taking little boys on field trips and talking about what men do. It's about the ability to build capacity, because capacity is the determining factor of what you're capable of and what you're able to do. I want to expand the capacity of my people. I want to expand the capacity of young black males. I want to work with my wife, Marion, to expand the capacity of young Black girls. I want to reach into the lives of young adults and help them open up and see the world from a lens of possibility, from a lens of power, from a lens of potential, and not just looking at it. I had an awesome opportunity to literally be on a panel discussion with Dr. Cleo Monago, who I'm pretty sure you've seen on a number of different networks and things of that nature. But we had a conversation, and one of the things that Dr. Monago talked about was how we have, for generations, consistently inculcated into the psyche of our kids that you're going to have to be 2 and 3 times better than any white person just to make it, and failed to let them know that it was the system and not them. Failed to let them know why they had to be better, and failed in many cases to let them know that they had the capacity to be better. We inculcated a load without explaining the potential to bear the load, without confirming the potential to bear the load. And that's a part of what I do. I tell my kids the same thing. You're going to have to get up. You have to show up, because you're going to already have things working against you before they ever hear a word come out of your mouth. But I always follow up with, don't worry about it, because you got it. You got it. And you're capable. Don't worry about it. You're built for it. So go make it happen. But you've got to have that balance of telling a kid, yeah, this is what's up, but don't worry about it. If you put in the work, if you go hard in the paint, there's no end to what you can do. And I want to see you do your best. So again, I'm looking forward to what's coming in the future. I'm looking forward to closing out. 2021 on a very positive and powerful note. And I'm a jet out of here. I got to run in and grab some things for baby before I get to the house. So I'm going to do that. But don't forget, show your love, show your support. The information that you need to do that is in the description box. Love, peace. I'm out until tomorrow.